What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of In the Valley podcast. If this is your first time listening or you're a repeat listener, I am a real estate agent here in Arizona, and this show is where I go and interview local business owners in the Valley. Today, I have a very special guest. He's a very good friend of mine, Zach Fisher. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, my man. It's crazy. We're filming here. I know it's a crazy background we got going on, but we're filming here in one of your clients' places. You do power washing and window cleaning, and this is a bar, but it's three bars, right? Or
Yeah, so it's actually 3 restaurants put together, and it's a really big complex. So we actually do a full service windows, power wash, grease removal, dumpster pads, and yeah, it's a full service.
Okay, perfect. And it's called Champagne Lanes for the people that don't know or haven't heard of it. It's not champagne, it's champagne. Found that out today on the GPS. But again, man, you're a great friend of mine, one of my best friends. So I know about you. I know your story. But for those people that don't know about you and don't know who you are, why don't we take it back and start from the beginning? You're now on this entrepreneurship journey. You have been for a while, but why don't we talk about where you're from, what your plans were originally, where you grew up? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I was actually from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Whole family's there, still out there. Only people here is my immediate family. Moved here about 4 years old, so I was actually raised here in Chandler, Arizona. So I basically say I'm from here.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to Chandler High School, grew up playing basketball. No one in my family is an entrepreneur. Everyone just has a regular job. But yeah, so I had really no sense of it or no taste for it, no hunger for it. From about when I started playing basketball from 15 to 18, my mind was on the NBA. Like I thought
That's
the
originally
end
you
goal.
want to do.
The original
Okay.
from like when I was a little kid to 17, 18 years old is like when that dream started like dying. It was like, wow, as I reach
That's when you
higher and
realize you're
higher
not that good?
levels. Yeah, basically. You go to higher and higher levels, traveling around the West Coast, and you're like, dang, like there is talent out here.
Yeah.
Stop from
So
there.
did you go to college to go do it, or you
No,
just realized like in high school, like this isn't gonna be my path?
bro, I never played college or high school basketball. I always played AAU because I could never,
Oh,
my grades were terrible.
okay.
So I graduated barely at the bare minimum, a 1.8 GPA.
What is that? All D's?
All D's, bro. Like mostly F's. They basically gave me the okay to get out of here.
Okay. Like you're doing us a favor. Get the
Yeah.
hell out of here.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do. My initial thought was
No MBA.
no MBA. That's out
So
the
now where
door.
are you going?
So I can't go to college, right? Because you have to go to college and then the MBA or kind of whatever the regulation is. That was out the door. I actually graduated early because I went to alternative school because
Okay.
my grades were so bad.
Damn,
It was
man.
real accelerated. Got out of high school and I had no idea what to do. And my only option was because my mom had friends that were in it, was the Air Force.
Oh,
Had a whole my dad. I was like, all right, that's it. Like it's a wrap, good benefits, whatever it is. Had a graduation party of the Air Force, decorated everything like military style. I was like, yeah, cool. All my parents' friends, all glad to see you, telling me all these great things. Yeah, it didn't work out.
so you were
About
planning on going to the Air Force?
yeah.
Did you take the ASVAB and everything?
I was studying for it. Never even. I didn't even
Go take the test.
No, recruiters calling me,
Ghosted
freaking
them.
denying them, bro.
Damn.
Denying.
You're one of those guys.
One of those guys. And then my dad, he was always hard on me, but I'm thankful for him now. But he made me get a job. He was like, I was always working here and there, but he's like, all right, you're gonna need like a big boy job. And then I was like, okay.
At
He's
this
like,
time, you were living with your parents still?
I was living at my parents. I'm 18. And he was like, all right, so now I'll give you a year. You can figure out what you want to do. And then after that year comes up, like you're out of the house and it's like,
Out? Not
out of
even
the
paying
house.
rent there?
No.
He wanted you out.
Yeah, he wanted
Oh,
me
okay.
out.
I didn't know
So
that.
he's like, I'll give you a year to chill, do what you want. But when that comes up, you better have a plan. Moved out to California at 18, almost 19 years old, thinking, oh, I'm going to crush it out there. It's
What
a
were you
new
gonna do?
environment. I actually worked valet in downtown and they
Okay.
transferred me out there. And I was making better money out there because it's a higher class,
Yeah.
whatever.
But cost of living's higher there
Cost
too.
of living higher.
So were you renting like an apartment there or
No, I was
something?
living with my uncle.
Okay.
And at the time, I was still trying to get my first real estate deal. And I'm thinking I'm going to make millions off of it. I was like, oh, I can live out there. But build an empire out there. About a month, 2 months later, hitting me hard. I'm missing home. I have a BMW that I don't know why I have it. I'm paying premium gas. I don't know what I'm doing. So I decided to come back. I'm studying real estate off YouTube, just
Okay.
hustling,
In
hustling.
real estate, get your license
No,
or
wholesale
okay, real estate
because
wholesale.
so initially, right before I left to California, everyone's get your license, do all this. Studying for my license, I failed 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my mom's friends in my ear, other people saying that what I want to do is wholesale without a license, which is completely legal in Arizona, that it's illegal. I can't do it. So I'm getting both these mixed signals from the internet, from my parents, family,
Uh-huh.
but I end up doing it anyway. Closed my first deal at 19 here in
So
Arizona.
you're already back now from
I'm
California.
already back from California.
Okay. So Cali doesn't work out.
Cali doesn't work out.
You
Come over here.
decide to pursue the real estate wholesale path.
Yep, on the same vision, but
Okay.
just here in
Okay,
Arizona.
got it. So you get your first deal.
Got my first
What
deal.
was that first deal? Do you remember?
$4,000 I made, which was on in a nice area at the time. I didn't know Phoenix.
Huh.
It was 44th Street in Thomas.
Okay.
It was
Good area.
it was Arcadia-ish district. Bro, that deal was stupid fire.
Why?
I
Why you say
sold
that?
it for 333,000. The ARV was 680.
And
And I didn't
today you
know.
realize you could have probably
Yeah.
sold it for another
I
30.
wish I prayed to God I would have made my dad buy it, pull out a loan or something, bro. That thing was insane.
But hey, you've learned. You probably learned
I
from
learned.
there.
I
You know,
learned
you
a
learned
lot.
like,
Yeah.
hey, number one, truly look at comps, see
Mhm.
what it is, see the area, whether you hear, because there's people that wholesale virtually.
Oh yeah.
So again, you learn. Ultimately, you paid a big price to learn, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you get your first deal. Now it wasn't $1 million like you
No.
wanted. So how did it go from there? Did you end up just pursuing wholesaling or?
Yeah. So at 19, that's $4,000 is a lot at one time, right? At 19, I've
Yeah,
never
a
seen
big
that.
chunk of change for
Yeah.
sure.
I was driving a Challenger at the time, so I've always liked cars. I've always had cars. I owed $4,000 on it exactly, so I paid that, but it was in my dad's name because I couldn't qualify.
Okay.
And I always had a good job, so that's why I think he trusted me with cars and stuff. Always had money coming in, but nothing crazy. And I remember I closed on the deal, and he was always, yeah, whatever. I was like, it's through a title company, it's legit. And then he's like,
Oh, he
okay,
thought you were
whatever.
getting
Yeah,
scammed.
he didn't know what I was doing. He was like, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
I come home with the check, and I give him the check. I was like, here's for my car, and he was like, oh shit, it's real. And then from there, he kept like in my ear, oh, you need to get a job, go get a trade or whatever. But he backed off a little bit,
Because
and
now you
then
brought in
yeah,
a real check.
it was a real check, real thing that I did on my own. But then I didn't get a deal for about another year,
Year
whole
went
year,
by.
bro. I
What
didn't
the
know.
hell were you doing from then till then?
I was trying to get another deal, but completely the
But
wrong way.
how are you making money? Didn't
I
really
was
care.
working main event
Okay.
at 19 years old, fun job. And then I transitioned about half the year into a construction company, technically construction, but we change out billboards throughout the city.
That's right. I remember that.
So that's like a great 9 to 5, 5 a.m. to 1 a.m.,
Oh, so it allowed you
Monday
to
through
still
Friday.
build your
Mhm.
business as a real estate side and
Yeah.
do that. What's something I want to talk about before we continue on with your story? Number one, I think it's important that parents allow their kids to go out on an adventure
Mhm.
and see what really works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Because if you were told by your dad, hey, you have to do this, you have to do this, the more he tells you, the less you really want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that he was able to just let you ride with it and see how it goes, and he straight up just said, I give you a year, we'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
And you went out and were able to go look, go experience things, go taste different things to figure out what truly makes sense or what doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But now when you come back, it's, hey, this is real. Now I'm going to go ahead and pursue this.
Mhm.
Continue on with your story. I just thought, man, that was powerful by your dad. And I wanted to highlight that to the audience that you guys have kids or whatever the case may be. If they don't know what they want to do, especially at 19 years old,
Yeah.
we're in a different age different time where back in, I would say the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, they had to figure out what they wanted to do right away. They
Yeah.
were having families. Now
Early start.
you can make a podcast and get paid what somebody makes a year as a doctor
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. There's people that are full-time video gamers that are making a legit full-time income.
Yeah.
And the older generation, they're just grew up in a different era, so
Yeah.
they don't understand that yet fully. And I think that was good that you were able to bring that check to your dad and say, hey, this is real.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, go ahead. Continue on.
But yeah, got that good secure job, had my own truck route. It's more like a big boy position. They didn't really tell me what to do. As long as I finished my route for the day, I
You're
was
good.
good.
Okay.
So I actually used that truck with the company gas card, driving around for dollars, looking for my next deal.
Oh, okay.
I ended up closing a couple deals.
But it still took you a whole year.
Still took me a whole year.
So your next deal.
So actually, let's back up. I'm working that 9 to 5, whatever. A year comes up. My dad actually told me, I was like, all right, like you're gonna get your own spot. You have a consistent income coming in. Found a spot over in Tempe, got my first studio, moved out at like almost 20 years old. So I was still 19, moved out. I didn't know how to pay rent. I was like, do I bring a check to the office? I don't know how anything works. I ended up figuring it out, moved out, working that 9 to 5. I ended up closing a couple deals. And then at that time, I make 5, 10, 12 grand on the side. And I'm thinking I'm balling. Like, this is like nice. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about quitting. I don't know what to do. Then the deal slowed down, kind of market's changing a little bit where I don't have the knowledge of what's happening. I'm just kind of money hungry and trying to find the next deal, piecing stuff together. Then COVID hits, I get laid off, and then I get put
from your
on
normal job.
get off from my normal job. I never had that. Closed a couple of deals, which like I'm still steady. But at the same time, I'm worried, okay, like now what? Like schools are closed. I can't get an education. Wholesaling's all right, but I don't know if I could do it, turn it into millions. I ended up found a construction job during COVID, working out in the heat. Almost, it was one of the best slash worst jobs ever that I had because it taught me how to work extremely hard, 10-hour shifts in the heat, no shade. First day I passed out. I never passed out before.
Passed out?
Passed out. Uh, Bro,
Really?
I worked that hard. It was
And
crazy.
you just fell down to the ground?
Fell down on the ground. I was dehydrated. They're telling me what to do.
Oh, I
Go
wish I could have
home,
seen that.
take a warm shower. I was like, I'm taking a cold shower. Like, take a warm shower. I didn't know what to do. Working that.
What were you doing there?
I was technically a private contractor, but I was working for a government contract job, and they hire independent contractors.
Okay.
It was a military gravesite. So it was actually a really hard job because everything had to be laser shot, pinpointed in. I ended up excelling in there and leading a crew. So I ended up leading a crew with guys that are older than me, but they listened to me. They were cool. Funny thing is, everyone that they hired was ex-felons. So dudes, I'm talking hard, bro. 15, 20 years in the prison.
Oh, wow.
And then they come to listen to me. And it was funny because the foremans of that company, they couldn't really tell them what to do because they're Hispanic, black dudes, Asian guys that have this ethnic background that they can't really build a relationship with the white foreman, they always called them.
Yeah, yeah.
So they put me in charge because I could talk to them. I knew how
You were like the delegator.
Yeah, I was a delegator. They wanted respect and all these things. So I'd ask them to do things like, hey, bro, you mind if you go do this? Yeah, I got you. Instead of like, hey, go do this. It's on me.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
I excelled there quickly just because of that. It's a lot. That job actually taught me a lot. First day, I didn't have steel toe boots on. Foreman looked me in the eyes, get the F off my job site. Come back when you have boots. And I was like, that was like a hit in the real world. Okay, I'm not a little kid. Like this dude's telling me. There was fights on the job sites. The foreman would just turn away because dudes like they can't call the cops. Like legit fist fights. Like 2 minutes later, they're cool.
Oh, wow.
Taught me a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked.
So how long were you there?
I was there a year and a half.
Okay.
No, 8 months. My bad.
8 months?
Yeah.
So you're there 8 months.
Outfront calls me back.
During this time, you're still doing wholesale on the side or no?
Maybe one. I did one deal, and it's
Not
dying down.
active, really.
Not really active because I have that job that's draining me all day, every day. I don't have time to call. I don't have time to text, look up. When I get home, I go to sleep.
You're already tired.
Yeah.
And this was during COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were there for 8 months. Why only 8 months? Did you go to a different job? Or?
No, actually, my old job called me back, like, hey, position open back up. We're back up because it's an advertising business, right, with the billboards. So they shut down marketing. All the businesses pulled their contracts out because no one's driving, no one's outside.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So they call us back, hey, we're revamping, whatever. I come back, and I just come back hungry, like ready to get more wholesale deals. I'm back to my schedule off at 1. And then at that time, my parents are sending me Indeed listings, right? Oh, go get a trade.
You need a real job.
Yeah, I need a real job. Go get a trade, electrician. But at that time, like I've never thought since I was a little kid I've had a 9 to 5. Like I've always thought I'd be doing my own thing. Like it never crossed my mind to be in the same place like every single day. looking back now, I was just like, oh, it's weird. Like I never thought myself of every day doing the same thing.
Yeah, just like a
Office,
routine
hey,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was at the out. I was out front that billboard company. I decided to become an inspector
Home
and
inspections.
home
That's right. Yeah.
inspections. Stay in real estate, right? Secure. Everyone needs it.
And you
With
could still be driving
transactions.
around
Yeah,
for dollars,
true.
drive around. If you find other wholesale deals potentially,
Yeah,
you could do that. Okay.
always work.
Hey, and your parents are probably happy. You went and
Parents
got a
are
trade,
happy. I'm
right?
getting a
Because you
trade,
got
real job. Bro, I freaking hate it.
you didn't like it.
I hate it. It's like homework. You go in, it's boring. You walk. It's repetitive. It's like a 9 to 5.
Okay.
Lots of background work with the reports. It's like homework to me.
Paperwork. Yeah.
Paperwork. Real boring business. I didn't like it. I
How
kind
long?
of
I didn't. So then you ended up quitting that job.
no. Yeah. So I actually ended up. What happened? No. I'm still working that job. I'm still doing like site inspections, whatever. Hated it. It's died down.
The inspection side.
Yeah, inspection side. I had a contract with my mentor because you have to have a 2-year contract. I stopped and I ghosted him. I feel bad. But he was an older guy, real old school, only took phone calls or emails. But that kind of died down. Closed a couple wholesale deals again, and I'm still trying to get off the ground and make millions like everyone else. That's not hitting. And I get put on the maintenance route for billboards, and
Okay.
there's a power washer on the back. So that when you get maintenance route for the day, bro, that's cake. I'm gonna get lunch. I'm gonna go do a couple jobs and chill for the day. So I go around a couple. So what a maintenance route is, you go to all the billboard locations, what's scheduled, because there's a bunch of bird crap falling, bird nests up there that are under the restaurants. Call us and complain. So we go and power wash it, clean it up, just
Oh, okay.
maintain the
The billboard.
structure.
Okay.
And when I'm doing that, I'm get these owners of restaurants, managers are coming out. Hey, can you spray down my patio? I'm like, no, we're just here for the billboards. And they're calling me every time, but no, like I'm just here for the billboards. So that put a thought in my head of, oh, it's a side hustle. Maybe I could power wash some patios. At the same time, TikTok's blowing up, right? Everything's TikTok,
Yeah.
TikTok,
COVID.
TikTok.
Everyone's on
Yeah.
TikTok. Yeah.
So now I'm seeing, for some reasons on my feed, power washing, make 1,000 a day power washing. And that kind of like even certified it even more. I was like, oh, maybe it is a little, there's something there. Start looking it up, get discouraged because everything's in the Midwest with algae. It's real popular out there. Everyone, it's like getting your long cut hair. Getting your long cut here, everyone does it. Out in the Midwest, everyone gets their house power washed.
Okay.
And now I'm like, dang, there's not a market here. Can't do it. And then I was like, for some reason, I was like, no, I have to do it. So I had no equipment, no experience. Like I didn't know what to do. But my marketing side with real estate or everything, I know how to talk to people. I created flyers, postcards with a cool design, whatever. Hey, we power wash, clean patios. I live here in downtown. I walk around. I just go to the local bars. Hey, this is what we do, blah, blah, blah. I get I go on a Thursday. Saturday, I get 4 callbacks. Like, hey, and there still are clients today. Hey, we'll do power washing, come quote. And bro, I don't know what to quote.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What happened?
Bro, cheap. $65 will do it.
Of course they're gonna say yeah.
They said, yeah. I had no equipment that weekend. I was like, yeah, we got you for the next week. So I'm trying to how to get equipment. I don't know what to do. Do I have my own water? Turns out it's freaking complicated of plumbing.
Oh, it's not just buy a little power
No.
wash thing and you're good to go.
You have to freaking delegate the gallons per minute, the pressure, what tanks you're running, what equipment, what brands are you running, what hose reels are you running.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it gets real detailed. I actually told my dad about this idea. I was like, yo, I got 4 yeses. And he was like, okay. I was like, I found equipment. I had no money at the time, blew it all. I found equipment for $3,000, which was
a decent setup.
It's a decent setup with heat, everything on it. And today that's a deal. Back then that was like, it was cheap. Like now it's really cheap. He ended up buying it for me. I put like 1,000 down into it. So I owed him like 2,000. They put it on my truck and they gave me what came with it, a 50-foot hose reel, which wasn't long enough. So I'm like moving my truck around, buying extra hoses. I don't know what I'm doing. You're supposed to spray chemical down, use heat. I'm just spraying with water. And bro, literally made no difference. I'm like, okay, thanks, paid. I'm like, oh crap. And I felt so bad, but I kept doing it. I was like, okay, they're paying me minus. But I grew from there and just learning what chemicals to use, how to use equipment.
Yeah. I think we could unpack that a little bit because, again, throughout your story, it's just, hey, let's figure it out and
Yeah.
let's see how it goes.
Ready,
You were-
fire, aim.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, ready, fire, aim. And you decided to go get a job or bid jobs for a
Mhm.
power washing company, and you don't even own a power washer.
No.
So I just think I want to touch on that because in today's era, especially on the TikTok generation,
Yeah.
where you can go on TikTok and everybody is saying, hey, you can make a quick buck. You can do this to make thousands. You could do this to make thousands. When you go to look it up, everyone, all they keep doing is looking things up and they never take any action. And what I love about your story is you just seen something and took action.
Mhm.
Somebody asked you a question about power washing multiple times while you're there and you decided to take action. And something else that I noticed as well from that entire story was as you're growing and tasting different things, you still at least have some sort of steady income coming in
Yeah.
from a job, even if you don't like it. And I think that's good because everybody thinks that if you decide to do wholesale, if you decide to do, I don't know, power washing, they think that you just have to quit your job and go all in.
Yeah.
And honestly, for you, that was okay because
Mhm.
you have no kids, you don't have a wife, you're single. Worst case scenario, I'm sure your parents would let you live back
Yeah.
with them. And I think that's a key point I want to let the audience know because if you're willing to bet on yourself, it's always going to pay off in the long run.
Mhm.
But you have to be willing to say, "Hey, I'm going to bet on myself, but I'm going to take a calculated bet. I'm going to work at night so I could build my business during the day or work during the day so I could build my business at night."
Yeah.
And by doing that, it has now allowed you, I mean, we'll fast forward the story today. So now you started your power wash company how long ago?
About 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so 2.5 years ago, you started your power wash company. Now you quit wholesale full time.
Yep.
You're no longer doing that.
I did one deal last year just because it hit my lap and I know
Okay.
how to do it. So that's a cool thing about real estate. But yeah, that was the only time.
Exactly. So you're not really actively seeking that business anymore.
No.
And now you're just doing power washing full time.
Yep.
And I want to touch base on this big time because now that you gave that all the other nonsense, and I call it the shiny object syndrome, now that you gave all these different routes up,
Yeah.
you're no longer doing wholesale, you're no longer trying to do this, do that, do this. You've
Mhm.
now focused your full energy on one specific thing. How many clients do you have now?
Clients, I'd say about 15 to 20.
Okay, 15 to 20.
Yeah.
And that's power washing. But what you've also realized when you were doing power washing is there's other businesses that you can do or additional services
Yeah.
that you can add on to the power washing.
Mhm.
You now do restriping,
Yep.
you do gum removal,
Yeah.
and I'm probably missing some others, window cleaning, turf cleaning. And what I want to hit on is when you tend to focus on one thing, and consistently,
Yeah.
you now see that growth just continue to grow,
Mhm.
whether it's all the way up or whether it's step by step.
Yeah.
And now that you see that, you're now living full time off of your power washing company.
Yeah.
And some of your clients are big. You have Champagne Lanes, you
Yeah.
have Desert Diamond Casino,
Talking stick.
Talking Stick, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
West Side.
Yeah, you have Talking Stick. You have now, name some of your big companies that you got now.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of our biggest clients is Talking Stick. That's one of the biggest names. But some of the biggest as far as volume is high rises here in downtown.
Okay.
So we do like full cleanings. We did a full building wash. Oh, that's another service, a building wash
Additional
that no one
service.
thinks about.
Okay.
Building wash, we do a full maintenance clean on. But yeah, just mainly big ticket items are high rises and apartment buildings with parking structures. They need to be restriped, cleaned, parking lots, front entrances, dumpster areas.
Okay.
So those are high tickets right there.
And you know what I love about this business is it's not sexy.
No.
And I think that's something else that I like to hit on because in the world of TikTok and the world of quick money,
Mm-hmm.
where everybody thinks everything's just so easy, Airbnb, that's sexy.
Yeah.
You know, wholesaling, that's sexy.
Yeah.
You know, you make bigger checks, and with this, it's something that gets done on a consistent basis, whether the market is up or whether the market is down.
Yeah.
It's a recession-proof business, and you were to realize all of these items as you tasted different things.
Yeah.
And that's what I just want to hone in on that, because the fact that your curiosity is so great, and I want the audience to know, hey, it's okay if you don't have one thing that you want to do right now.
Yeah.
Taste little bits of items, go see what you like, and then run with it and see where it can take you. And be consistent with it too.
Yeah.
Now that you are focused on this power washing and window cleaning, where do you see your company going forward? What are your future goals?
So my closest future goal is probably be a franchise out in similar states like Texas, Vegas, or love Cali, but they have a lot of water restrictions. So
Okay.
you have to retain your own water. You can't just blast it into the street. Other places that don't have crazy huge snowstorms, rain a lot, things like that. But to really, second goal is to franchise it out into one of those states,
Okay.
make some extra income, and just apply the same marketing process that I do here, because I think a lot of people are leaving bread on the table that are doing it here. They're not doing it the way I do it. So I think I can make a lot more business elsewhere.
And I think also too, in the world that we're in today, what I've noticed interviewing successful people and just doing my own research is it's not a game of what you know, because you can always learn anything later.
Yeah.
It's a game of who you know. And you have big apartment complexes that you're doing now.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they're probably managed by a property management company.
Yeah.
So now that you have a relationship with them, you can just say, hey, we now have a company out in Texas. I know you guys have apartment complexes in Texas where I'm already on your payroll.
That's
I can
the
do the same
exact plan
exact
right
service.
there.
Exactly. See, I'm dropping them gems.
Exactly.
You now just say,
Don't be
hey,
giving it all away.
now you just say, hey, I already service here. We're now do the same thing in Texas,
Yep.
in Florida, wherever you decide to go.
Not only that, because power washings, I call it a nocturnal business, right?
What do you mean by that?
You don't see us when we come in. It's after hours cleaning, and then we just send you an invoice, and that's it.
Okay.
So what I do is I treat the front office or whoever I'm dealing with real nice. They get donuts, coffee. Hey, we cleaned last night. Here's some nice before and after pictures, videos. The people that love to watch it. It's like, oh, thank you so much, blah, 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 all this stuff. Send them a Stanley Cup, whatever it is. And so that we're constantly in their head, because other power washers, they go at night, never see them, invoice sent, and that's it.
They never talk to them.
Never talk.
No
to them.
relationship,
No
is built.
relationship. Yeah.
And that's the key thing I want to hit on is relationships can take you very far.
That's what I learned
the
in
whole
real
reason
estate.
why we started this podcast is to interview more business owners here in Arizona, to highlight, of course, the great state we live in, but also to just build more relationships. Everybody has different spheres, different circles, different people they connect with, different people they talk to. And by us doing a collab, by us just sitting down and talking, and when this podcast comes out, I'm now going to be introduced to your following. You're going to be now introduced to my following. And that's the whole point of building relationships, because it's able to take your business to the next level. Again, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Exactly. And the minute people engrave that into their brains, they're going to realize, I just need to meet more people. And by you going out of your way to giving gifts to your clients, etc., I think a lot of people think, hey, I called them and they didn't answer. I can't go do whatever I wanted to do. No. My business has failed. These people that you give gifts to, they don't own this freaking building.
No.
They just work here.
Yeah.
And they, just every business, they have systems. They have people in place that they delegate to. So you talk to the managers here, I'm sure they know who they need to send out to then hire people. I'd imagine maybe the managers are the ones that hired you.
Yeah, so that's the thing is with the service business, you have to get the point of contact.
Okay.
Talk to a host will lead to a manager, will lead to the property manager, will lead to the owner, or maybe the corporation, whatever it is.
And then that's where you're able to build that relationship. This building that you do, for example, these people own all three.
Yeah.
So you're able to land one job that then landed you 3 jobs now.
Yeah.
But what I want to talk about too is going back to about relationships. This is a small freaking world.
Exactly.
Especially in the state you live in, the city you live in, wherever you're at, and you want to start a business, I guaranteed some of these people that you do, they referred you to another business here in downtown.
Yeah, all the time. My business owners know other business owners, and if you do a good job, which was my, I'm always giving out not free services, but always cooking them up a little bit.
Okay.
So we're like, hey, we did this today. What do you think? Oh, that's great. Whatever. Leave me a nice review. Or they'll be like, hey, man, my friend's going to be hitting you up. He owns Fat Tuesday. I'm like, oh, crap. And then he owns 3 other restaurants, and it just keeps rolling and rolling. So I think if you keep a good service, good clientele, it'll always just, because successful people and business owners like to do business with not only people they like, but to keep in their circle. And if you can get in those circles, everyone will use you.
Yeah, I agree. And I like that. I like that, man. And I think the key takeaway from this podcast today is, you said it, ready, fire, aim.
Aim, yeah.
And
shout out to Zach.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason why I think that's so powerful is everyone's going to think they're going to have to rewind that and hear it. It's ready, fire, aim. Not ready, aim, fire, because now you're stuck in that analysis paralysis. You're, oh, I want to do a business. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. And you never take action.
No, I was always do first.
Yeah, exactly. And see how the hell it turns out.
Yeah.
If it doesn't turn out good, hey, that job that you're at right now, I guarantee it'll still be there if you don't do good.
I can go back today. I'm still cool with them if I wanted to.
Exactly. I became a real estate agent 3 years ago or 2 years ago while I was in the military for 8 years. During that time, I was investing in real estate, and I realized my success that I had part-time, why not go in full-time and see how it goes? Yeah. And a lot of people were calling me dumb. I was planning on being the youngest E6 there, and they were saying, man, you're in 8 years. You only got 12 more years for a full pension. I'm like, 12 more years? Holy shit, man. What the hell am I going to do 12 years? What I decided was, hey, the military has been around for a long ass time. Yeah. I guaranteed they're going to be there if I go and do this venture and it fails. Yeah. Worst case scenario. And this is another tip. If you decide to leave your job, don't just go in there and say, hey, fuck you to everybody. Yeah. Definitely go in there and be like, have a good relationship, leave properly. So that way, if things don't work out, you now have at least a backup plan of where you could go to next. And that's exactly what I figured. And now 2 years later, thank God I've had a very successful business. When I first went into real estate, I used to make 50, 60,000 a year in the military. I made that in 2 to 3 months. Yeah. Being a real estate agent and just my real estate business. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that because from this story, it's all about ready, fire, aim, but also just bet on yourself. Yeah. And see where it leads. So again, Zach, I appreciate you coming out, taking the time out of your day to do this podcast. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on social media, all the different platforms, but also your business. If people want to reach out, maybe they need services, because you not only do commercial, but you also do residential. Yeah. So go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you. Yeah, I think the best place is just Instagram. Company is Always Clean AZ. No spaces or underscores, but all our content's on there. You could DM us, get a free quote, and then text me or whatever it is. All info's on there. Sounds good. Again, guys, thank you for listening to this episode of In the Valley Podcast. Remember, ready, fire, aim.